But the question also says, do not accept a number less than 10 for the number of rooms on a floor. Okay, on a floor. Okay, so number of rooms, we can initialize it. Okay, it's the same thing. We can initialize it to anything that's less than 10, so that at least the while loop that we create will be entered. So I'm going to initialize it to, again, -1. Okay, -1. And we ask for number of rooms over here. This is where we ask for number of rooms. So before that, I'm going to say while number of rooms is less than 10. I think let me check the input validation. Do not accept a number less than 10 for the number of rooms on the floor. Okay, so while number of rooms is less than 10, then keep asking the user for how many rooms there are, and accept the input, convert it, and then keep testing. If it's less than 10, then keep asking and tell the user to enter it again, and then keep checking. Okay, so if number of rooms is less than 10, then keep asking the user, accept it again, come back and check to see if it's less than 10. If it's less than 10, keep asking. But if it's greater than 10, then move on. And the reason why I set number of rooms to -1, so it's so that this statement can be true initially, and then the while loop can be entered, or can be entered. Okay, so that's how to fix that input validation. All right. So I think we're done. So let's go ahead and test it and see if it's working. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. We didn't calculate the. Oh, we did. We did calculate the occupancy rate. I'm sorry. We did. So all we have to do now is print it out, because if you run it now, nothing is printing, so we wouldn't know anything. So let's go ahead and print it. All right. So let's go ahead and print it using the GOption pane, because that's what we use to accept input. So in order to display it, we're going to use the GOption pane's show message dialog. So GOption pane.show message dialog. And this show message dialog takes 2 arguments. The first argument I'm going to type in null, and null is basically going to center the window on the screen. Okay, and it's going to center the window in the screen. And the second argument is going to be what you want to display. Okay. Now, for the occupancy rate, it's a percentage, so I want to display it as a percentage. These are just numbers, so I just want to display the numbers. Okay, this is just numbers. These are just numbers. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete this. Okay, the second argument is what you're going to display. I'm going to, since I want to format the occupancy rate to a percentage, I'm going to use a string.format method. Okay, a string.format method, so that I can convert that string, convert a string, that string nicely, and then I can pass the result into the GOption pane.show message dialog. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to call the string.format method. All right, and this is how I want it formatted. I want to say this. Total. Let's start with the total number of rooms. So total number of rooms. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Total number of rooms is going to be. Okay. So I'm going to use %d for an integer, and that %d is just a placeholder. Okay. I don't want that formatted anyway, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to type in a comma here. Okay, and then now the second argument over here, one argument or argument with s, is going to be what is going to replace the placeholders respectively. So %d, whatever placeholder or whatever variable I put here, or whatever value I put here, is going to replace this. It has to be an integer. I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be an integer. It's going to just format that value as an integer. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the total number of rooms here. I'll copy and paste it. So this variable now is going to replace this placeholder, and it's going to be formatted as an integer. It's already an integer, but it's still going to do that. All right, so now I'm going to create a new line, and then I'm going to type in the next thing, which is going to be total number of occupied rooms. Okay, total number of occupied rooms, and that is also going to be an integer, so percentage %d the same way. And the second argument here is going to be total number of occupied rooms. Okay, so let me go ahead, because this is because it's exceeding the this I don't want to scroll horizontally, so I'm just going to go ahead and break this line. I'm going to break this line. I'll see if it works, but I'll go ahead and break this line here. No, it doesn't. I'll break it here. I'm not sure of. Let's see if that's going to work. We'll try and see if it works. Okay, so yes. So total number of rooms is like this. I don't know if I'll need this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but we'll run it and see what happens. All right. So this first argument is going to replace this first placeholder, and it's going to be formatted as an integer. This second one is going to place this, and I put a $D. It's a percentage %d, not a $D. I'm sorry. This second variable is going to replace this second placeholder here. All right. So the third thing I want to display is the total number of vacant rooms. So I'm going to, again, after I display that result, I'm going to create a new line character. Now this is just one string I'm formatting. Okay. So the next thing is going to be total number of, and I'll keep on breaking this. It's going to be total number of vacant rooms. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to break it here. Okay, concatenate it, and join this. Okay, so I'm just breaking it up. I'm just breaking the string up and concatenating it with a plus. Hit enter, and then take this back. I don't think I'll need that because of the comma. I don't think so. But let's move on. If something happens, we'll fix it. For this string, I need to concatenate it. I need to concatenate this string to the string, so that's fine. All right. So total number of vacant rooms is going to be percentage %d for total number of vacant rooms, because that's also going to be an integer. And the third variable is going to replace that placeholder. So that's going to be this variable, total number of vacant rooms. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Okay, so I'm exceeding it, so I'm going to hit enter and break it. Okay, I'm going to undo it. Put the cursor here, just break it, hit enter. I don't think we'll need a plus sign, but again, if it gives us an error, we'll fix it. Let me just keep this in line. If it gives us an error, we'll fix it. If there's a way I could try to put this plus on the other side, that would be nice. Like this, and I'll break it here like that. Okay. Okay, so now we have three things. Okay, the last thing I'll need is the occupancy rate, and that's what I mentioned. I wanted to format as a percentage sign. So I'm going to break the line using a new line character, and I'm going to say occupancy rate. Okay, my occupancy rate is going to be equal to. For that, I'm going to I want to display it as a float. Okay, so it's going to be a percentage f. I want to format it as a float. I want it formatted to 1 decimal place, and to do that, I'm going to type in 0.1. This 0.1 just means I'm formatting it to 1 decimal place. If I typed in 0.2, then it will mean I'm formatting it to 2 decimal places, but I want it formatted to 1 decimal place. Okay, and because I want percentage at the end of it, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 percentage signs. Now if I go ahead and put just 1 percentage sign, it will think I'm about to start, I'm about to type in a placeholder like this percentage D. So I need to put another one to tell it that, hey, okay, I need to put another one to tell it that, hey, escape it. Don't think that I'm about to type in another placeholder for a format specifier. Just escape it and then display one of it. Okay, so one is escaping, one is being escaped and one is being printed. Okay, all right, so we'll see if it works. But the fourth argument is going to be occupancy rate, which is, where did we store that? Which is here, occupancy rate. All right, so yeah, so that's occupancy rate over here, and we're going to store it here. Now after this I mean, occupancy rate is going to be stored here. We are formatting it based on this format. All right, after this string or after this is being formatted, string.format returns the formatted string. So we need a place to store it. Okay, we need a place to store it. So we can just say, we can create another string, and then I'm going to go ahead and call it, I'm going to say output. I'm just going to say output. All right, and I'm going to store the result over here. Okay, all the details in output like this. So now output will store the result. And then now, remember I said GOptionPane.show message dialog takes 2 arguments. First argument is going to, now it's going to center the window on the screen, and then the second argument is what is going to be displayed. So because I have the string in output, I'm going to type in output here, and it's going to display what's stored in output. Now finally, anytime you use the GOptionPane, we have to, when we are done, we have to system.exit. Let's type in system.exit, and this system.exit basically terminates that extra thread that is caused anytime you use a GOptionPane. Okay, it's going to terminate that thread, and I'm passing in a 0 so that maybe in the future, if I wanted to test on the return value of this method, if I wanted to test to see what it returned, I can test it and check to see if I got a 0, if it returned a 0, and if it returned a 0, it's normally an indication that the program ran successfully. It got to this point and was able to run, it got to this point and basically run successfully. All right, so now we're done. Let me just squeeze this a little bit. Now we're done, and we're going to test it and see if it works. So I'm going to compile it. Go to not the videos. Java, okay. I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call it Hotel Occupancy. And I'll save Hotel Occupancy here. Okay, so we have some errors. Let's see. All right, I can just see I didn't terminate this, and I think that's what it needs. So I'm going to terminate it and compile. All right, so okay, so GOptionPane is not util. I don't know why I typed that. Again, like I said, sometimes you forget sometimes, or you mix it up sometimes. But it's for the GOptionPane, it's not java.util. Okay, it's java.swing. I mean javax.swing.GOptionPane. So javax.swing.GOptionPane. That's how to import the GOptionPane. So I'm going to compile it, and another error. Let's see. It said cannot find symbol. It cannot find total number vacant rooms. Okay, so this variable over here, I declared a variable as total number of vacant rooms. Okay, total number of vacant rooms, and over here I said total number vacant rooms. I forgot to put the off, so I'm going to type off and then compile it again. All right, so now we don't have any errors. So let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Okay, so it's loading up the GOptionPane. Okay, so it says, please enter the number of floors in the hotel. Now, if you remember, the question said, oopsie, where is it? Okay, so if you remember, the question said, do not accept a value less than 1 for number of floors. Okay, so I'm going to type in -1 and see what happens. And it keeps on asking me, please enter the number of floors in the hotel. -1, 0, or -6. So anything less than 1 is not going to accept it. But as soon as I type in, let's say four floors, okay, so 4 floors, I hit enter. Now it says how many rooms are on floor 1. See, it's able to know, because we are using the numbers, we declared a floor to be equal to 1 over here. It knows exactly what to use. Initially, when the loop starts, floor is equal to 1, and when it loops back, floor is going to be incremented to 2, and so on. So how many rooms are on floor 1? So this is what I want to do for these 4 floors. I want to say there are 2 rooms on each floor, right? So the total number of rooms is going to be 8. Okay, so I'm going to say 2 rooms on each floor. So how many rooms are on floor 1? I'm going to say 2 and hit enter. Okay, now it says, let's see, how many rooms are on floor 1? I said 2. Okay, so I think we have a problem. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, and let's see what happens. Let's see what's happening. So floors, while number of floors is less than 1. Okay, let's see. Number of floors less than 1. Okay, so while number of floors is less than 1, user input string, please enter that. Number of floors, we're going to pass it, it's an integer, and we're going to start the loop. Okay, so I can't really see exactly what's wrong, but let's see. Let's test it again. Please enter the number of floors in the hotel. I'm going to enter 4 floors. How many rooms are on floor 1? So that means it got into the loop. Okay, it got into the loop. Okay, so how many rooms are on floor 1? I'm going to say 2 and hit okay, and it's still asking the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to cancel it, and then let's investigate what happened. Okay, so let's see. Please bear with me here. While number of rooms is less than 10. Okay, so I think that's the problem. Let's see. Let me see something here. The input validation said, do not accept a number less than 10 for number of rooms on a floor. Okay, so that's a problem. It said do not accept a number less than 10, okay, for the number of rooms on a floor. So it wants us to type in a bigger number. So I think that's why. Because I was like, I mean, a hotel can have 4 floors and 2 rooms. You never know. It could be a small hotel. So I was wondering. Okay, I didn't actually think about the input validation. I just did it code wise. But I think now I know, because it said we shouldn't accept anything less than 10 for the number of rooms on a floor. So that's why. So I'm going to compile it and run it again, because I couldn't see really what was wrong with it. So okay, so now let's say we have, let's say we have 3 floors. Okay, so I'm going to enter 3 floors and then hit enter. So how many rooms are on floor 1? Okay, I'm not going to enter anything less than 10 because it wouldn't accept it. So I'm going to say 10. Okay, I'm going to say each floor has 10 rooms. So in other words, there are going to be a total of 30 rooms, okay, in that hotel, because 3 floors, 10 rooms, then we have 30 rooms. So I'm going to say 10 rooms on floor 1. Okay, so now it says how many rooms out of let me just format it as well. I'm sorry. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms? Okay, so now this should read fine. Okay, so number of floors in the hotel, 3. How many rooms are on floor 1? I'm going to say 10. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 1 are occupied? Okay, so this is what I want to say. I'm going to say that there are 3 floors, 10 rooms on each floor, so we have a total of 30 rooms. And I'm going to say on each floor, out of the 10 rooms, there are 5 occupied. Okay, so there are going to be 5 vacant rooms on each floor. Total, there are going to be 3 floors, okay, 30 rooms. There are going to be 15 of them occupied, and then 15 of them vacant. So that's how I'm going to set it up to see if we get that output. All right, so how many rooms out of the 10 floors? How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 1 are occupied? I'm going to say 5. 5 are occupied. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 2 are occupied? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me cancel this. I think the question wanted us to ask for how many rooms are on. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right, the program. Let's see. Okay, so we're asking for the number of rooms on each floor, which is here, and we're also asking for how many rooms out of this are occupied. Okay, so I think it's working. Let's I don't know what I was thinking, but I think it's working. Let's see. Now, please enter the number of floors in the hotel. 3. How many rooms are on floor 1? So 10. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 1 are occupied? 5. So it should ask for, after this, it should ask for how many rooms. How many rooms are on floor 2? So I don't. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so we ask for this. Well, the number of rooms is less than 10. It's going to go ahead and ask how many rooms out of the 10 rooms. Okay, it's going to do this, but it's coming back up here and skipping this because number of rooms. Okay, because the number of rooms. Let's see. Is going to be, I typed in 10. Okay, so I think I know what it is. Okay, all right. Because after, okay, so when I run this, I think I know what it is. All right, so let me, it's important. I didn't actually think about this. All right, but it's important. Look, when I type in number of floors, I type in 3 floors, how many rooms? It's going to ask me how many rooms are on floor 1. I say 10 rooms. So it moves on to this question here, this one here. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 1 are occupied? I say 5. Now, after this is done, it should go up here, check this while loop for input validation, and ask me again how many rooms are on floor 2. Before it goes on to ask me how many rooms out of the whatever rooms the user typed here are occupied. But this is what's happening. For the first time, I typed in 10. Okay, so number of rooms is 10. So when it comes back up and checks again, while 10 is less than 10, okay, think about it. 10 is not less than 10, so it skips this whole while loop and continues here. But we need to break into this while loop and always ask for the number of rooms on the floor before we ask for how many of them are occupied. Otherwise, the program won't work well. But the reason why it's skipping this is because initially we typed in 10 for number of rooms. So when it comes up, when it comes up again, it's number of rooms is already 10. Okay, remember initially number of rooms was -1, so that's why I was able to break into this while loop, because -1 is less than 10, so it's going to ask how many rooms are on the floor. But we set number of rooms to 10 because I typed in 10 for the number of rooms on floor 1, and it went through all this, went back up here. Number of rooms was set to 10, so it said while 10 is less than 10. 10 is not less than 10. These two statements are going to run only if the number of rooms is less than 10. But the thing is, 10 is not less than 10, so it's going to skip it and come down here and ask for how many rooms out of the number of rooms on floor, on that floor are occupied. So I'm going to cancel this and fix it because it wasn't making sense. It wasn't making sense to me. All right, so remember initially we set number of rooms to -1, right? And that's why we were able to enter or break into this while loop, right? So this is what I'm going to do. After we've set the number of rooms here to, let's say I type in 10. After it's done with all this calculation, before it goes up back to the loop, we should set the number of rooms again to -1. Number of rooms again to -1, not number of floors. Number of rooms again to -1, so that when it's coming up back again, this while loop is tested. Okay, it's tested again. It's tested so that we want the while loop to the interpreter to read these two lines. So if we set it back to -1, then it's going to check, is -1 less than 10? Yes. Then now it's going to break into this while loop and ask the user again. Floor has been increased to 2, so it's going to say how many rooms are on the floor. 2. For the next time it iterate, or it asks this question, and then the user is going to type in number of rooms. And number of rooms is going to replace -1 again. It's going to do all the calculations properly, and then we set it to -1 again, so that the next time it comes back up again, floor is going to be increased to 3. But the thing is, -1 is going to be less than 10. It's going to ask the user how many rooms are on floor 3. The user is going to type in something, and what the user is going to type is going to replace number of rooms, and on and on and on. Okay, so let's do that. That's why it wasn't working. So let's go ahead and set, after it's done with all this calculation, let's go ahead and set number of rooms to -1. So I'm going to go ahead and say number of rooms is going to be equal to -1 here, and then I'm going to terminate it, and hopefully this works. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it again. So I'm going to compile it and run. So again, I'm going to use the same idea. I'm going to type in 3 floors, 10 rooms each. Okay, on each floor, out of the 10 rooms, 5 of them are occupied. All right, so I'm expecting 30 rooms total, 15 occupied, 15 vacant. All right, and occupancy rate is going to be calculated. I wouldn't know that, so it's going to calculate that. All right, so please enter the number of floors in the hotel. So 3. How many rooms are on floor 1? 10. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 1 are occupied? 5. See, now it comes back and says how many rooms are on floor 2. Okay, so I'm going to say 10 again. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 2 are occupied? 5. How many rooms are on floor 3? 10. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 3 are occupied? 5. And then I would say, see, total number of rooms, I forgot to say rooms. All right, total number of rooms, 30. Total number of occupied rooms, 15. Okay, total number of vacant rooms, 15. And now we have 0 occupancy rate. And I think we have a problem here too. All right, so let's go check. And I think I know what it is. All right, so over here, occupancy rate, where we are doing the calculation here, occupancy rate. We are calculating for the occupancy rate, right? Occupancy rate is a double. If we come here, we declared it as a double. All right, so it's expecting a double. Total number of occupied rooms. Remember, total number of occupied rooms is an integer, and total number of rooms is also an integer. Where is it? Total number of rooms is also an integer. So the thing is, the reason why we are getting 0.00, okay, let's pull out a calculator here. I'm sorry I'm dragging this whole thing, but I want it to be clear. Okay, all these errors, trying to solve them helps us all. Okay, so what's happening is this: total, anytime you are doing, okay, so total number of occupied rooms, let's say in this case, total number of occupied rooms was 15, right? 15, right? 15, because I said on each floor 5 of them. Okay, there were 10 rooms on each floor, and on each floor 5 rooms were occupied. So 5 rooms occupied on each floor, and then so 5. That means that 15 rooms are going to be occupied. Total number of rooms is going to be 30, right? So 30. So we are expecting 0.5 to be stored in over here, right? But the reason why we are getting 0 is because we are doing an integer division. Now, what causes an integer division is when you are doing a regular division, all right, but your both operands are integers. Okay, now if both of your operands are integers, then although you're supposed to get 0.5, okay, Java sees this whole evaluation as an integer division, meaning even though you're getting 0.5, it's not going to return 0.5 because it's an integer division. It's going to return only the first integer and drop anything after the decimal point. So again, the reason why this results, okay, based on what I typed in, this results in a decimal, okay, but because the reason we got 0, okay, is because these two variables are integers, and when both variables are integers, Java considers that as an integer division. So even though you're supposed to get a double or a decimal, it only takes the first integer that it sees and drops anything after the decimal point. So that's why we are getting only the 0 and not the 0.5. So that's a problem. But we know this it will result, or it can result in a double. So we need to make sure that it doesn't return an integer. And the way to fix that is this: one of these values has to be a double at least. But the thing is, both of them are integers. One of these values has to be a double for the results of this, to be a double. Okay, for the result of this to return a double, the full double here, to return the full 0.5. But the thing is, both of these are integers, so we can use typecasting to kind of temporarily convert one of these values to a double. So in order to use typecasting, you basically, okay, so again, at least one of these, both of them can be doubles, and that's fine. But if only one of them is a double, it could be this one, it could be this one, it will result in a double. So I'm just going to pick this one, the total number of occupied rooms, and I'm going to convert it to a double, okay, by using typecasting. I'm going to put the word double in front of it, and I'm going to separate, I'm going to surround it with parentheses. I'm surrounding the double with parentheses and not the variable. So basically what this is doing is it's converting this like temporarily to a double, okay? So, and because now Java sees this as a double dividing an integer, at least because one of them is a double, it's going to return the whole decimal here. So now this should fix it, okay? So basically that's the explanation. All right, so let's try it again, and this time I'm going to change the number of rooms on each floor. Okay, I'm going to say there are 3 floors. Floor 1 has 1 room, floor 2 has 1 room. I'm sorry, floor 1 has 1 room, floor 2 has 2 rooms, and floor 3 has 3 rooms. Okay, so 3 floors. Okay, floor 1 1 room, floor 2 2 rooms, floor 3 3 rooms. And I'm going to say there's one person one person is occupying each room. So floor 1 has 1 room, that room is occupied. Floor 2 has 2 rooms, one of those 2 rooms is occupied. I'm sorry, it's occupied. And then floor 3 has 3 rooms, one of those 3 rooms is occupied. All right, so and I'm expecting, when I do that, I'm expecting a total of 6 rooms, and I'm expecting 3 of them to be occupied, and then 3 of them not to be vacant. And then the occupancy rates, we have to calculate that. All right, so please enter the number of floors. I'm going to say 3. Hit OK. How many rooms are on floor 1? I'm going to say 1, right? And I'm going to hit OK, and it says how many. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see. I think hold on. We're running into so many problems today, huh? But it's all good. All right, so let's see. Please enter the number of floors in the hotel. I'm going to say 3. How many rooms are on floor 1? I'm going to say 1. Okay, 1. Okay, so we're having a problem here. Let's see. For number of rooms, it's number of floors is 3. Number of rooms, set it to -1. How many rooms are on floor 1? We set it to 1 over here for number of rooms. Converting it to an integer comes back up here. As long as 1 is less. Oh, see, I keep on forgetting this. All right, so based on the input validation, we can't skip this. All right, so I thought I thought there was something wrong. I keep on forgetting this. The program said we shouldn't type anything less than 10 for number of rooms, so that's why it's not working. So the input validation is working. The program just says we can't type anything less than 10. All right, so let's try the first idea again. Okay, so that's what was happening, because I was trying to think. We fixed all of it. Anyway, some of these errors help a lot. It helps you actually know the stuff, so that next time when you come across it, you can actually figure it out. But I apologize for it. Personally, I think it helps. Okay, but if you already know the stuff, like I said, just feel free to skip through it. If it's taking too much of your time, just feel free to skip through it. But I personally like going through it, so we solve all the errors, and we learn from it. Okay, so yeah, if it's too long, or if it's taking too much time, just skip through it, and then try to look for the parts that are maybe confusing. All right, so let's use the same idea for the first time I tried this. So 3 floors, 10 rooms on floor 1. How many rooms of the 10 are occupied? 5. How many rooms are on floor 2? 10. How many rooms of the 10 rooms are occupied? 5. How many rooms are on floor 3? I'm going to say 10. How many rooms are 10. How many rooms out of the 10 rooms on floor 3 are occupied? 5. Okay, so total number of rooms 30, total number of occupied rooms 15, total number of vacant rooms 15, and occupancy rate is 0.5%. All right, so this number, there's no way I can check. Based on the question, we've done it. Okay, but this number, there's no way I can check it, because I don't know a lot about all the stuff. But based on math and based on what we've done, it's correct. And based on the question, what it says we should do, it's correct. But yes, so yeah, we went through a lot to get this done, but it was all worth it to me. If you ask me, it was helpful, because we found out stuff that that's helpful, so the next time when we find it, we will know. So yes, if you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll do everything to respond to them. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time with the next program. Bye bye.